All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the story of Imran Khan,
Yeah.
a figure who I think is absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of source material we're going to be working with here, a bunch of articles, biographies, interviews,
Right.
trying to figure out, like, how did this guy go from, World Cup winning cricket legend to a major force in Pakistani politics?
Right. A really interesting story, really.
Yeah, so maybe for folks who aren't, like, hardcore cricket fans, like,
Okay.
what made Imran Khan such a huge deal in the world of cricket?
So Imran Khan, back in 1992, he captained the Pakistani cricket team
Yeah.
to victory in the World Cup.
Oh, wow.
And this was, a really, really big deal. It was a huge upset victory.
Okay.
And he was seen as kind of this inspirational leader. He had this real presence on the field.
Right.
And, it was just this incredible moment of national pride for Pakistan.
So, like, he's already a national hero at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he's at the top of his game. He could just, like, rest on his laurels,
For sure.
live a comfortable life.
Right.
But that's not what he does.
Not at all.
He decides to build a cancer hospital.
Yeah, so after he retires from cricket, he really throws himself into philanthropy.
Okay.
And one of his, I guess you could call it his most ambitious projects, was to build this cancer hospital in Pakistan called the Shaukat Khanum Memorial Cancer Hospital.
What made him decide to do that? Like, was there a specific reason?
So it was really personal for him.
Okay.
His mother actually passed away from cancer,
Oh, wow.
and he had seen firsthand, like, the lack of adequate treatment facilities, especially for, people who couldn't afford expensive care.
Right.
So he was really determined to create this, like, world-class cancer hospital in Pakistan that would be completely free for patients who couldn't afford to pay.
A free cancer hospital. That sounds like a huge undertaking.
Oh, it was a massive undertaking.
Yeah, I bet.
He faced a lot of skepticism at the beginning. People, even medical professionals, they were like, this is impossible. You're not going to be able to do this.
You're in Pakistan,
Right, exactly.
not in, like, someplace with a super well-funded healthcare system.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But Khan, he was just so determined.
Okay.
He was driven by this kind of, this mission to honor his mother's memory
Right.
and to really make a difference in the lives of, everyday Pakistanis.
So it wasn't just about, like, throwing money at a problem. He was really invested in this.
No, he was incredibly hands-on.
Wow.
He was deeply involved in every aspect of the project, from fundraising to, the actual construction and design of the hospital.
And this hospital, actually, it was built. It exists.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The Shaukat Khanum Memorial Cancer Hospital opened in 1994 in Lahore.
Wow.
And to this day, it's considered one of the leading cancer hospitals in the region.
And it's still free for people who can't afford treatment.
Yeah, it provides free or subsidized treatment to a significant portion of its patients. And it's really become kind of this symbol of hope
Right.
for, cancer patients in Pakistan who, previously wouldn't have had access to this kind of quality care.
Okay, so we've got this world-class cricketer,
Right.
national hero,
Yeah.
decides to, instead of just enjoying his fame, he builds a free cancer hospital.
Yeah,
And then I understand that he also gets involved in education.
he does.
Okay, tell me about that.
So around the same time that he's working on the hospital, he also establishes a university called Namal University.
Okay.
And this is located in his ancestral home region of Mianwali.
Okay.
And it was really driven by this vision of bringing, like, world-class higher education to a really underdeveloped rural area of
Right.
Pakistan.
So he's not just, like, donating to some existing university.
No,
He's building a new one.
he's building a brand new university.
In a place where, like, that kind of opportunity just didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And the goal was really to, to empower, the youth in that region, to give them access to, quality education that would, help them break the cycle of poverty.
So we've got the hospital, we've got the university.
Right.
It's like, is there anything this guy can't do?
Well, he's certainly a man of action.
Yeah.
He really believes in kind of, seeing a problem and trying to solve it.
Right.
And he's not afraid to take on, these big challenges.
Yeah, so this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
We've got a lot more to get to.
Right.
Next time we're to be talking about how he went from, all this incredible work in philanthropy and education
Right.
and threw himself into the crazy world of Pakistani politics.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that.
All right.
Okay, so last time we were talking about all this incredible work Imran Khan was doing with, like, the cancer hospital and the university.
Right. Yeah.
And it's all very, like, positive and uplifting. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to run for political office in Pakistan,
Right.
which is, like, notoriously a very difficult and messy and corrupt.
A very, very complex political landscape.
Yeah. What year are we talking about here when he, like, first makes his jump into the political scene?
So he actually founded his own political party in 1996.
Okay.
Called Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI,
Okay.
which translates to Movement for Justice.
Movement for Justice.
Virtually,
Okay,
yeah.
so clearly, like, he's got this,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
platform of, social justice and doing good for the people. And,
Yeah, he really wanted to kind of bring that same energy and that same commitment to, serving the people to the political arena.
So, like, what was the reaction? I mean, did people think he was, like, crazy? Like, what's this cricket player doing trying to get into politics?
I mean, there was definitely some skepticism.
Yeah.
He was an outsider.
Right.
He didn't come from a political dynasty.
Right, like, he was a famous cricketer.
Exactly.
But he was not, from some family of politicians or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. So he was, he definitely faced some pushback from the kind of, the established political elite.
Like the old guard?
Exactly, yeah. The old guard who, they saw him as a threat.
Okay. But at the same time, I mean, he's got this huge name recognition.
Right.
He's a national hero.
Yeah.
So that had to count for something, right?
I mean, it definitely gave him a platform.
Okay.
People knew who he was.
Yeah.
They respected him.
Yeah.
And so he was able to kind of use that to his advantage.
Okay, so, like, did he have, like a specific message or platform when he was campaigning?
Yeah, so PTI, their main platform was really about kind of, creating this Naya Pakistan.
Naya Pakistan?
Yeah, which means, like, new Pakistan.
Okay.
And it was really focused on things like, fighting corruption.
Okay.
Promoting justice.
Okay.
Improving education and healthcare.
It sounds like he was building on a lot of the work he had already done with the hospital and the university.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. There was definitely a through line there.
Okay.
He was really trying to create a system that was, more equitable.
Right.
And that, really served the needs of the people.
Okay, so he's got this platform, he's campaigning,
Mm-hmm.
but Pakistani politics, like, it's notoriously difficult.
It's very tough.
So was there, like, a moment when things really started to turn for him?
Yeah.
Like a moment when people started to take him seriously as a politician?
So there was this massive rally that PTI held in Lahore in 2011.
Okay.
And it was this huge, huge turnout.
Okay.
Hundreds of thousands of people came out to support Khan.
Wow, so, like, this was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it really showed the kind of, the growing support
Okay.
for PTI and for Khan's message.
Okay, so after, years of sort of building up this movement,
Yeah.
he finally gets elected prime minister in 2018.
That's right. So after over 2 decades of, really campaigning and building up this movement, he finally achieves victory.
It's got to feel pretty good, right?
I'm sure it was an incredible moment.
Yeah. Okay, so he's prime minister now.
Yeah.
Like, what are his priorities? What does he actually do?
So, I mean, coming into office, he was facing a lot of challenges.
Right.
Pakistan had been struggling with, economic issues, corruption, poverty.
Yeah, all the stuff he was campaigning on.
Exactly.
Okay.
So he really focused on trying to address those issues.
Good.
One of his key initiatives was this program called the Sehat Sahulat program.
Sehat Sahulat program, what's that?
So basically, it's a universal healthcare program
Okay.
that provides health insurance to millions of low-income families.
So, like, free healthcare.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
It's this very ambitious program.
Yeah.
And it was really aimed at trying to, ensure that everyone in Pakistan had access to, quality healthcare regardless of their income.
Okay. So he's tackling healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
So another big initiative was the ESOS program. And this was a poverty alleviation program.
Great.
That was really designed to, help lift people out of poverty through a variety of different means.
Okay, like what kind of stuff?
So it included things like, cash transfers,
Okay.
job training programs,
Right.
Microfinance loans.
It sounds like a pretty comprehensive approach.
Yeah, it was a very ambitious program.
Yeah.
And it actually got a lot of international recognition.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, organizations like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation were involved in supporting the program.
Oh, wow.
So it was definitely, it was seen as a really positive step.
Okay, so he's trying to do all this good stuff.
Yeah.
But I know that things didn't, like, work out perfectly.
Right.
So what happened? What led to, like, his downfall?
Well, yeah, as we know, his premiership didn't last.
Okay.
Eh.
Okay, so we left off with Imran Khan. He's finally prime minister. He's
Right.
trying to implement all these reforms.
Mhm.
But we know that it didn't, last forever.
Yeah, it was a very tumultuous time.
Yeah. So, like, what went wrong?
Well, I mean, he faced a lot of opposition
Right.
from the start.
Yeah.
He was really trying to, shake up the system.
Right.
And there were a lot of powerful people who were
Yeah.
very invested in maintaining the status quo.
So, like, he's stepping on some toes.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And so, they really pushed back against him.
Yeah.
There were, allegations of corruption.
Against him.
Yeah, against him.
Right.
There were attempts to kind of discredit him.
Right.
And eventually, it all culminated in this vote of no confidence.
Okay. Remind me, when was this?
So this was in April of 2022.
2022. Okay.
And he was basically ousted from office.
So, like, did he actually lose the vote? Or was it more like kind of forced out?
It was very controversial.
Yeah.
There were a lot of allegations that it was, kind of rigged.
Right.
That, there was political maneuvering behind the scenes.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a fair and square vote.
Right. Yeah, it was a very messy situation.
Okay. And what was the reaction from, like, the people of Pakistan?
I mean, there were huge protests across
yeah.
the country.
Yeah.
People were very angry.
Right.
They felt like, their democratically elected leader had been unfairly removed.
Right.
And so, it really kind of, led to a lot of political instability.
Okay, so it sounds like even though he wasn't in office for very long,
Yeah.
he definitely made like a lasting impact.
Oh, absolutely.
And so what's like the situation now?
So Khan is still a very popular figure in Pakistan.
Okay.
He still has a lot of support.
Yeah.
But the political situation is, remains very complex.
Right.
There's a lot of uncertainty about the future.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a pretty remarkable guy.
He is. He's had this incredible life.
Yeah.
From, cricket star to philanthropist to politician. And, he's definitely left his mark on Pakistan.
It's a story that I think a lot of people can probably learn something from.
I think so, too.
It about resilience and fighting for what you believe in.
Right. And about the power of, having a vision and really trying to make a difference.
Yeah. So, I mean, thanks for diving into this with me. It's been a really fascinating journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope you all learned something too. And thanks for tuning in.